Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Aussie Formula Racing. We're here for Tier 1, Round 12 of Season 8 at the Austrian Grand Prix here in the Styrian Alps. And joining me tonight, as always, is Mr. Spicer. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
Pretty
Nice.
good, thank you very much. We had a bit of a late Tier 3 start time, so I'm still pretty sweaty. So hopefully we don't have too much excitement here in Tier 1. And for the first minute, absolutely.
Background.
Well, for the first minute as well, we have not had any action. We're only just getting the McLaren onto the track now. I think, is that FIBA? It is. I wonder if we might be seeing some rain. It's usually we see people straight out onto the track in qualifying, and I wonder if they might just have to have loaded their wet setups.
Quite possibly. This is one of those tracks where it's 50-50, I think, for weather. Or at least rain at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. We had at the end of Tier 3, Jeff came over the radio to say that there was rain in 10 minutes at the end of the race, so it's definitely can come out of nowhere sometimes, but looks like qualifying session is going to be dry so far, but look, everyone else still in the pits.
Yeah, so they're saying 15% chance of rain, but everyone knows at that point you can pretty much run softs and no dramas.
Absolutely. I just realised that I forgot to change something for our calendar. There we go. I think we're good now. Apologies, had to get race. What is it? The app we use for the calendars and the detailed reports that we post every week. I forgot to switch that over to Tier 1, but we are all good now. Some other drivers are starting to come out of the pits, and we'll jump on board with FIBA on this flying lap. Yeah, he's on the intermediates, saving a set of slicks for later on in quali. If there is a bit of rain coming, then might want to not thrash these too hard. Track actually looks like it's a bit damp to start with. Like it's looking very greasy. And it's quite cloudy as well.
Probably not bad for these guys, considering they've got to use all their tyres.
Absolutely. Sneaky reckons that they've left the rain for Tier 2, and Tier Wet, as it is affectionately known as, because it does rain quite a bit.
I wouldn't be surprised. Would not be surprised. Yeah, it does look pretty sketchy out there, but that might be because of the tyres they're running.
Yeah, well, we've got a couple drivers, both McLarens on the intermediates. Captain Golden Sandeezy on the wet tyre. It's a little bit sketchy. We've got a number of drivers coming out on the mediums as well, so just trying to save those slick tyres a bit later in the qualifying session. We do only have the 16 drivers at the moment for Tier 1 as big tank slaver for feedback coming out of the final corner. And we'll jump aboard with
quite well though, didn't he?
CGM, absolutely. So at the moment, Batemate is the only driver who could be eliminated at the moment. We do have another driver joining mid-session as well, so hopefully they'll make it before the cutoff.
Less cars, less to talk about.
Absolutely.
Really what happens.
We do have, here we go, CJM just about to come across the line on the medium tyres, and he goes fastest to 104.466. You can see quite how significant the time difference is between the medium compound and the intermediate, as Pondon also set to 105.062. Tanis with an 04.360. We're going to jump back. Who we got? We've got Alpha Tauri on an outlap at the moment. It's Batemate, and we'll jump over with him. He's first driver on track with the soft tyre, so let's jump on board with the AlphaTauri drivers. Had a great season this season, Batemate, so done it really well. Hoping for a top 4 finish, and next season with the car selection we have changed the rules, so you can team up with someone else in the top 4, and a caveat in that as well that it can be split up if you dominate for too many seasons in a row, but it does mean that everyone will be able to join the same team as any friends that they'd like to, so I think it's a good change. Mixing up a little bit, and Batemate goes purple in the first sector, and we're seeing still not a lot of action on track at the moment. Number of drivers staying in the pits. Do you have combined Captain of Gold and number of...
they're waiting for our track evolution bubble.
Possibly, yeah. I guess that's the other option. I mean, it's
And not waste tyres.
Hero, they just absolutely stopped on track there in between two corners, but thankfully off the racing line. Seb in the chat, hi guys, resident teleporter here. Apparently there was a bit of drama in the Tier 3 race up ahead of me. It was a bit of no man's land, but anyway, good lap from Batemate, 104.241. And then now we've got Come On YouTuber on the medium setting, 104.360, and an identical time to Artanis on the medium tyres as well. Great work there from the Ferrari driver.
104.2 should be enough just to get him by.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have Psycho jump in the chat as he always does in Tier 1. Let us know what the cut-off times are going to be so that we know what they won't be, because he's usually wrong with those estimates, but always good to...
That's all it is.
Absolutely, we've got to have that bit of banter going in the chat anyway. They've got T-Mac on an outlap now as well on the soft tyre. As that Tannis at 103.935. Looks like he's doing a few laps on that set. Jumping ball with the Haas driver. Oh, he's lost the rear. The Haas goes around and keeps it out of the wall, though. I'd say he probably didn't quite get those tyres into the operating window and just went a bit too hard at turn 1, and around he went. Have a quick look at that replay. And there we go. Took the optimal line. I think he just took the apex a little bit too sharply and just unsettled the car, and with some cold medium tyres.
I was waiting for you to
just
show
not
me
going to stick.
Stroll again.
No, only for Monaco, that replay. Only for Monaco. Looks like, what's that? T-Mac. T-Mac's done exactly the same thing. The exit of turn 1. And T-Mac and that was on the soft tyre as well. So I wonder if, the track's just a little bit cold and tyres just aren't getting up to temperature just yet. See yellow flag as T-Mac gets well out of the way of, I think that was FIBA going around again. He's doing some laps on the inters still. Here we go, we've got Potsy filling in tonight in the Aston Martin. Let's jump on board with him. See how he's going to go. He's filled in a couple of times this season. He did sign up at the start, I believe, but had to give away the seat for real-life commitments, but he's done a couple of fill-ins and he's just performed sublimely, and his fill-in roles occasionally jumping in Red Bull tonight in Aston Martin, so done pretty well.
We've got T-Mac just about to start a lap, unless he's been held up by Hero. FIBA. Yep, starting up a lap.
Oh, as Potsy cuts the corner and that's invalidated his lap, so he's going to back out and go again. Now let's see who else is on a lap.
Ooh, T-Mac lost it, turn 1.
He lost it again. He's still going, but I reckon it's probably ruined his lap. Jump forward with Ekin, the other Aston Martin driver, as Potsy gets ready to go again.
First sector, but that might be just because he's setting the lap.
Ekim goes purple in the first sector. A yellow flag up ahead. Just looks like some slow traffic coming to the pits. Ekim winds up to the second last corner. It's not quite used as much curb on the entry, and had to get out of the throttle fair bit for the final corner. He'll come across the line, and he sets 103.953, so just a couple hundredths of a second behind Artanis. And we're going to jump aboard with Big Al, who's about to come across the line as well. Potsy to 103.830. There we go. After invalidating that first lap, the second lap is on point, and Big Al does an 882. And true Big Al form, right on the money straight away. Jump aboard with Captain of Gold, who's on his first flying lap on the soft tyre. Alfa Romeo. We've got a yellow flag at turn 2. Just looks like the Aston Martin getting out of the way, so stay on board with Captain of Gold for the rest of this lap. Goes purple briefly in the second sector, but I think that was correct. He's currently 11 seconds up on his time, so it's going to be a 1 minute 10, so he must have been pretty slow in the third sector, so expect him to be at least P11. He's very committed through the second last corner, through the final one, just clips that yellow sausage curve that unsettles the car slightly, but he opens up the DRS and comes across the line. Good enough for P1 with a 103.765. It was a pretty good lap in the end from Captain of Gold, but a few spots where he can improve, that's for sure. Now, let's have a look.
Who are you going to predict is going to take out the front row this evening, Gus?
I'm expecting it'll be FIBA. I think Big Al's going to be up there as he just sets a 103.701 on his second lap. So really good stuff there from the Alpine driver. We've got Hero who's invalidated and he's lost the Rui. What is happening with Hero's car? I think he might be taking Seb's resident teleporter title because he was all over the shop through the final couple of corners and Sandisi just gets out of the way. He was caught a bit napping there, but Hero's connection is absolutely terrible tonight. I would not like to be with a wheel with him at all.
Must be that New Zealander NBN.
Absolutely. Jump aboard with Andek. Oh, as Andek has a big spin just as we jump on board. He's lost his front wing there, gets off the track to get out of the way of the McLaren's about to come through.
He hasn't got long left, so you might want to get back to the pits.
Yeah, Potsy thinks his time is safe. He's retired in the pits. Andek's going to do a Bottas reenactment of being a Mercedes lawnmower in the infield there.
Like Bait Mate will be staying in, I think.
Here we go. Ando rejoins the track in a little bit of clean air, so he'll nurse his way back to the pits. Let's jump on board with Trims finally getting a clean lap in here. Misses the apex slightly at the second last corner. Clobs that curb, but he'll get a nice bit of a tow from Sandisi here as he comes across the line. Good enough for P7 with 104.045. So we've got, I think, T-Max on an out lap, so we'll follow him for the moment. So back to your question, so who do I think is going to nab pole? It's going to be close. My money would be on FIBA, but I wouldn't count out Big Al, maybe even Potsy being in contention. The problem is that Austria being such a short track, it's so easy to lose time. Yeah, it's so easy to lose time. And Tier 3 earlier, we had 1 second covered first down to about 13th. And even then, a bit further back, it was about 2 seconds covered the whole grid. So it's a crazy tight circuit. So if you make even the slightest mistake, that could cost you big time here. And that's why we're seeing... Oh, is T-Mac... Oh, he's lost it. Oh, he had a big snap of oversteer mid-corner as he... turned.
It looks like the stability of that car is not comfortable.
I wonder if it's to do with the potential rain coming in the race. So could be interesting. Let's have a look at that replay again. So he just had a big snap, and then he lost it. He carried too much speed across, and that's where he had the snap mid corner, and then he's just run very deep into the runoff area, and that has caused him to lose the grip in the rear of the car and spun him back onto the track.
Possibly they're running a low aero for this race just so they can have fast sectors 1 and 2, 1 and 3.
That's all well and good on the straights, but if you can't make it pass through the corner without losing the rear, then it's a balancing act for sure. But I just wonder if the balance of the car may have been changed if there is rain coming in the race. Maybe that's what's going on here. There's just the balance isn't quite right for the dry, but hopefully it's better for the wet. For Alpine, as T-Mac will go again. We've got 3.5 minutes to go. And Psycho in the chat just letting me down. He does not have the estimates for cut-off times due to obvious reasons. Yes, I am aware of those reasons, but thank you for getting back to me nonetheless. As T-Mac finally makes it through turn 1 without losing the rear, and he's a couple of tenths up on his time at the moment, but needs to find a bit more across the top of the hill and down through sector 3 as well. So at the moment he's about 4 tenths behind combined YouTuber, but he is safe at the moment as Crush has joined in his Ferrari. We did say we're going to have a latecomer in Q1. We now have our 17 drivers.
Looks like he'll probably be able to do 1 lap of quali.
T-Mac up by 4 tenths now. He says dirt tracks on the racing line. Looks like someone's had a bit of an excursion in Sector 2. And T-Mac pretty committed through the final couple of corners. It's a bit wide of the final one, but keeps the speed up, and he'll come across the line in P11 with 104.307. Going to jump on board with Andocat now, who's yet to set a time. Then there's Mikau, who's coming to the second last corner at the moment, I believe. Unless it's Baitmate, but I think Baitmate's on top of the hill. So Andocat about to come through Sector 2. There we go. He's gone purple in Sector 2, apparently. And here we go. Flicks it up onto the curb. Very committed. As Trin has retired in the pits, he's happy with his 104.045, and Anacat comes across with a 104.071. So good work there from the Mercedes. And a minute 45 left on the clock. Crush has left the pits, and he will make it around for at least one lap, but I think it will just be one lap.
Looks like we're going to have a very close race. We've got pole at the moment, sitting at 3.7. We've got Pondon on 15th at 4.8. All within a second, pretty much. Absolutely.
So we've got Sandaisy yet to set a representative time. He's currently on track at the moment, just behind Pondon here, who's our driver at risk at the moment. Currently, it's a 104.894 to get through to Q2. And he comes across the line, P6 with 103.887, jumping on board with Sandaisy. Good enough for P15, 104.336. Immediately beaten there by the Ferrari of, I think that was combined YouTuber, came across the line there. And he's out of the danger zone, so Sandaisy back in it. He's still going again. We got Crush, who's on his outlap still. He's coming through the last couple of corners. Is he going to make it across the line? 30 seconds ago, he will make it. So jump aboard with Sandaisy now. He's a 10th and a half up on his time, so he needs to beat T-Mac's 104.307, and T-Mac has retired as well. So he obviously doesn't think he can improve his time. As we follow Sandaisy through Sector 2's up by 3.5 tenths. And
might be enough.
That's going to be enough. I think T-Mac's in trouble here. Maybe even Hero as well. Hero's currently 14th with a 104.245. He's got the checkered flag as the session is over. Mikau does a 103.487. And Sandaisy comes across the line, and he's done a 103.959. So T-Mac is out, and Crush is still going. He's on a valid lap.
Might be able to push out Hero.
He needs a 104.2 in order to make it through into Q2. Both Hero and T-Mac not running in the final few seconds of qualifying. Oh, he's cut it. He's cut the corner. Crush has turned it too early, and he's invalidated his one and only lap in Q1, and he is out. Hero survives by 0.5 tenth of a second.
He's very lucky indeed. But yet again, they've got a spare set of softs.
Absolutely. Ooh, that was... This is, oh, what's happened there? Tanis looks like he's actually 15th now with a 103.935. Oh, he crashed out. Sure. I think he crashed out on track.
Yes.
And that means that you do not progress to the next session, I think?
Yes, that is correct.
Or it puts you down to starting no higher than
I wonder what happened there then.
Yeah, it's like we just noticed that. I think he did actually crash on track.
Towards the end there? Or?
So yeah, he qualified 15th after corrections because he won't set a time in Q2.
He would have been...
Let's see, what happened?
Yeah, probably would have been 10th or 11th.
Yeah, terminal damage, DNF, so he definitely crashed. I wonder if he crashed coming into the pits. Because he wasn't on track. I was keeping an eye on who was doing a lap, and... Oh no, he was on track for the... He was the only one still on track doing a lap, and I thought he just retired... in the pits when he realized that he was done and he was through, but that's bizarre. I hope he hasn't retired on track thinking it's all good and not realized that you need to do it a certain way or the game will not let you progress to Q2. So,
well, that's F1 2021 for you.
Absolutely. Hopefully the new game's better. It's got some new features, so we'll see.
It doesn't fail to surprise us, that's for sure.
Hello, Sea Carrot. I haven't seen you around here for a while. Glad you could join us. Those who are relatively new to the AFR stream, Sea Carrot used to co-commentate with Kunai Zero back in the day.
Where's the sea cucumber?
Have to keep an eye on the chat just in case he has a comeback for that one. Alright, so we're seeing a bit more action early in the session now. We've got the Alpine of Big Al.
Lurking. Yes, indeed.
There we go. So, drivers coming out on track at the moment. Big Al on the soft. We've got Potsy and Ekem on the mediums as well. What do you reckon about the tyre strategy for this race? It's an easy one stop. But do you start on the medium tyre or do you just go for the softs?
It's definitely, if you can start on the mediums, it'll definitely help. But I think the way these guys go competitively wise, most of them I think will start on the softs, try and break DRS, and then try and pull away.
The interesting thing is that the soft tyres can actually go very far into the race. So
yeah,
about 26 laps until you get into puncture territory. I mean, the car's not really drivable beyond about 15, 16, but it's very low tyre wear.
Most of the target, I think, is between 12 and 16. That's the target for softs anyway. But it totally depends on what they're running, whether they're trying to run as much tyre pressure to keep much heat for the mediums, or there might be a few different setups.
Yeah, absolutely. As Big Al nearly lost the rear through turn 1 there, he's obviously pushing quite hard at the moment. And keeps control of the wheel spin coming out of turn 2, short shifting up to 4th gear before getting on the loud pedal.
That's interesting what the game's done, is considering he finished top 15, he's just not listed in Q2.
Well,
so it's just
it must have been an on-track crash. He must have actually crashed into a wall somewhere. Yeah. I wonder if he's actually either lost it at the second last corner or if he's crashed coming into the pits. Because, yeah, he was safe. He was safely through. He was P15. And then, yeah, he's just... Yeah, such bizarre. Hopefully we have someone come back to us about what happened. As Big Al's actually invalidated, he's gone over the curb too much. The final corner as Potsy sits a 104.260 on the medium tyres. Ekem about to cross the line, does a 104.045. So Aston Martin's off to a great start at the moment. Jump on board with, I'm going to take a guess, is that Hero? That is not Hero. Hero's invalidated, so jump on board with Feber. Feber's invalidated. Jump on board with Trin, who has also invalidated. Let's try and find a driver who is respecting track limits, and there's Mikau coming through the second last corner. And he will set a valid time now. And it will be a 103.863 on the soft tyre. Good lap there from Mikau. Jump on board with Pondon, who's also invalidated. Jump on board with CJM, who's about to start a lap, so we'll jump on board with him.
A lot of them ride that ripple strip quite high, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you have to be very precise, so it's so easy to lose traction on the rear left.
Yeah, I think this track is mostly all about throttle control, isn't it?
Absolutely. Just an update on what happened to Tanis. So Mika reports in the chat that it was an engineer mistake. They didn't want to impede cars by retiring on track, so I told him to put it in the wall. Wasn't aware it wouldn't let him in next session. So he has deliberately crashed, thinking that it was the right thing to do, but that's unfortunately meant that he can't set a time in Q2, so very unfortunate there down at Williams.
He's going to get his James Squire.
CJM looked like he was on such a good lap, and he's just drifted a bit wide of the final corner, and that's going to have invalidated the previous lap and the next lap.
Very unlucky. At least he's got 10 minutes to do it.
Absolutely. Jumping aboard with Sandeezy now, who's made it through to Q2. He's currently sitting down in P12. We've got a number of drivers yet to set valid times, but we do have times from Fever and Hero, 103.399 and 0.640 respectively. Oh, Sandeezy nearly lost it on the exit curve. There's a great save there for now from our driver. Ooh, as Trin...
Car stopped in the middle.
Yeah, I think he was trying to... I wonder if that might be a bit of desync there between Trin and Sandeezy, because...
Might possibly.
Trin was gunning it for the pit entry, did not react at all to Sandeezy recovering from that little off, but he's winding up again for another lap. Going to jump on board with his teammate Captain of Gold, who's got a bit of traffic in Sector 2, but he's invalidated as well. So let's jump on with Baitmate, who is going very slow on the medium tyre, so I don't think he's going for a lap just yet. Let's jump on board with... we got anyone on a lap? Come on, YouTubers invalidated. Let's have a look at Captain of Gold. It's invalidated. Sandeezy is invalidated again. Baitmate is the only one at the moment. We do have, I think, that's Potsy about to start a lap, so let's jump aboard with him. You see, track limits are so strict here at Austria. It's so easy to just run a little bit too wide, and that's what we were talking about earlier about just how marginal it is here. You make one little mistake, not only could it cost you a few tenths and a few positions, it could invalidate your lap outright, and all of a sudden you're starting at the back of the field.
Yeah, it looks like Bait has been told to come back in and put the softs on.
Yeah, 8.5 minutes to go. He probably wouldn't have had enough time to set a time on the mediums. The other option is he might have just been doing an outlap just to get a feel for the track before he uses up his softs. Might be trying to save some for Q3, and what a big tank slapper from Potsy coming out of turn 3. Absolutely mega drift there from the Aston Martin driver.
Pretty good drivers in this tier 1, isn't there?
Oh, he's invalidated as well on the curb.
Unlucky.
Jump on board with Captain of Gold, who's just behind. I think that's Big Al in front on the medium tyre, setting a time. Oh, he's going to lose the rear. Captain of Gold, how did he keep that? I thought he went over the track limits as well at the second last corner, but he'll come across the line with a 103.987, and I think he'll need to change of pants when he comes into the pit lane.
Oh. Done well to hold on to that, that's for sure.
Jumping on board with Sandeezy in the other Alfa Romeo.
Looks like they're wanting to start on the mediums.
Yeah, Big Al at third with a 103.850 on the medium tyre.
Sandeezy purple second sector. That's interesting.
Yeah.
See if that holds out.
Watching him come through the final couple of corners. These are the easiest ones to invalidate. Looks solid through the second last corner. And look at the... Oh, he's had a big snapper oversteer, a tank slapper as well to boot. And he will come across the line on P9 with a 104.249. But there is time there for him. I think he would have been a couple of tenths up the field if he hadn't had that little mistake. Jumping aboard with CJM, who's on an outlap now, yet to set a time in Q2.
Ooh, that was close.
There we go, Mercedes climbing up the hill. See what his delta is at the moment, 16.027, so pretty tidy first sector. Keeps him in third gear through turn 2, just to control the wheel spin, and pretty good across the top of the hill. Nice coming down through sector 2. A little bit of traffic coming ahead, which is, I think that's Sandeezy on his in lap. Should stay out of the way. Hopefully he's not going to park it on the apex. CJM comes through the final couple of corners. Here's the Alfa Romeo up ahead. Is going to park it on the apex right as the Mercedes turns in and just gets out of the way. I think CJM was fully committed before that turn in, so I don't think he lost any time. And he'll come across the line, goes P4 with a 103.756. We'll just see.
Yeah, it looks like the tyre strategies are really showing themselves now.
Absolutely. He was watching Big Al come through the final couple of corners. And he goes P4 with 103.675 on the medium. So good work there from Big Al. And I think that's Phoebe starting a lap on a fresh set of softs. Oh, he's run very wide and invalidated straight away. But we've got Hero about to start a lap as well.
Got Bateman out on mediums again by the looks of it.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder what's going on down there at AlphaTauri. Interesting
Maybe they're
run plan.
Tonight.
Oh, maybe Psycho is having a bit of trouble thinking about what the strategy is going to be.
It's yes.
We like yellow, he says.
Yellow looks faster.
There we go, Hero. He's having a pretty tidy run. He's going to pass his teammate here through Sector 2. This Batemate does indeed start his flying lap on the mediums. We've got 4 minutes to go in the session, so still plenty of time for everyone to get a couple of laps in. And Hero goes purple in the second sector. And keeps it within the track limits, and this is going to be a pretty speedy lap. 103.388, he's 11 thousandths of a second quicker than his teammate, but still about 600ths of a second off Mikau. And it looks like it might be a cheeky toe here from Hero for Fever, but I don't think they timed this well enough. He's too slow. Oh, there's Fever. Nearly runs up his bum.
Might be just enough.
Oh, he's 400s up on his time there, Fever. That's not going to be enough on its own to pit Mick out here in Q2.
Looks like they're trying to find the shortest way around the track. You can see they're trying to use every part of that track.
Absolutely. Well, Batemate's just about to cross the line. A bit of wheel spin there for Fever off the curb at turn 3. As Batemate goes P10 on those medium tyres, so maybe they weren't quite up to temperature. He's got about half a second to find to kind of match Big Al's time on those same compound. And we go Fever. Going to come through the last couple of corners now. Oh, he turned it a little bit too early. Had to get out of the throttle and open up the steering a little bit. And he'll come across the line. And he sets a 103.378. He's 100th of a second quicker than his teammate. But he lost that advantage that he got off the first sector with the slipstream. Jump aboard with Andocat, who looks like he has not got his ERS on. So he's not on an outlap, but he's not pushing. So interesting to see what's going on there. Sandeezy has invalidated. Batemate is not on a push lap. Ekim has invalidated. Captain of Gold has invalidated. Potsy has invalidated, and he's retired from the session. Hopefully,
looks like Andocat's setting up for the next lap. Wonder how long he's got till.
Mikau's retired. He's happy with his 103.3. Yeah, Andocat getting ready to go. So at the moment, cutoff time is a 104.114. At this rate, Andocat will actually have enough time to do 2 laps. Just whether or not he's got enough fuel in the tank to get around again. He'll stay on board for this lap. Not quite committed 100% there. Had a bit of room to go at the exit curb. So he's currently 10 seconds off the pace, so he doesn't have a representative time, but he's just gone purple in the first sector. Oh, and he's lost it. Oh, and he's had a big spin at turn 3. And this is not what he needs. Oh, he's parked in the middle of the track. This is not great. Given Ponton. Ooh.
He has improved himself and pushing him up to 8th, so you might be able to get through the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to jump aboard with Ponton now, who we just saw nearly go nose to the nose with Andocat. Andocat does have enough time to do another lap.
And the Captain of Gold needs to improve quite a bit by 100.
There we go. So Ponto's just about to cross the line. 30 seconds to go on the clock. And he improves by 4.5 tenths with a 103.889. And there's a Haas of Trin just came across the line. P7 with 103.794. He's on another lap as well. Who we got there? Sandeezy up to P8 with a 103.795. The Gold invalidated that last run, but he's going again. About 13 seconds to go. And Cat is coming into the pit, so he mustn't have enough fuel to go again. And that is it. He is not progressing. So we've got combined YouTuber coming out of the final corner, and he'll take the checkered flag. P9 with 103.807, so the cutoff time is currently 103.889. We'll jump on board with CJM, who's invalidated, so we'll jump on board with Baitmate, who is out of fuel, not running anymore. Pondon is not pushing, so it's all down to the Alfa Romeos. Sandeezy is done. Jump on board with Captain of Gold, who is still pushing, so here we go. So he needs to find another 1/10 of a second in order to get through to Q3. And he's up by 1/10 and a half. Oh, this might just be enough. So Baitmate is done. He is not making it through. And Captain of Gold keeps it tight through second last corner. Doesn't extend the final corner. I think this is going to be good. And it is good. P10 with 103.839. Jumping on board with combined YouTuber is done as well behind him. So that is it for qualifying 2. So we say goodbye to Andercat, Eckham, Baitmate and Pondon. Captain of Gold sneaks through by 0.05 of a second. And we also see combined YouTuber and Sandeezy make it through. Sandeezy only just scraped through into Q2 as well with a last minute dash at the end of Q1. We see CJM got it together as well, coming across in P6. We just wait for Trin's Haas to be wheeled back into the garage, and will be the end of our qualifying 2 session.
What are your predictions for Q3?
I reckon we're going to see a few invalidations. It looks like no matter how fast these guys are, it's still so easy to make a little mistake.
Looks like a few of them used all their tyres at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got... Mikau has shown that he's just got that little bit of extra pace compared to the others, and definitely more consistent. He doesn't seem to be invalidating nearly as often. We've got Fever and Hero look like they're pretty well matched for pace, within a 100th of a second of each other. We haven't yet seen Big Al's time on the softs, and look at that, he's only 0.3 off fastest in Q2. And he was on the medium tyre as well. I reckon keep your eye on Big Al. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him on the front row for the start of the race. So let us know in the chat what you think your predictions are for Q3. Who's going to start on pole? What's the front row going to look like? Are we going to see anyone crumble under the pressure and not set a time at all? Give us your predictions. Miko, if you can let Artanis know that he needs to minimize TikTok and open the game so we can load into the final qualifying session. As we continue to wait for Artanis to get off TikTok and progress.
TikTok stuff is quite addictive.
Apparently, so there we go. He's got the message. He's got the tick, and we are through to qualifying 3. I wonder what TikTok he was looking at. Thanks, Mika, for that. Alright, here we go. Q3, 12 minutes to the fastest drivers in Tier 1. Doing the fastest lap times they possibly can around this Austrian circuit. And Trin, first one out of the blocks. Mr. Spicer, what do you think? Who's going to get pole? Who's going to be on the front row next to them? Oh, I think Mr. Spicer has had to jump off for a second. We should have him back in a few moments' time. But yeah, let's see what happens here. At least there'll be plenty of clean air. We had quite a bit of traffic in the last couple of sessions. Now with just 10 drivers on the track, it's going to be so much easier for them to get a clean run in. There we go, Trin just coming through the last couple of corners now. Does a little bit of a weave to warm those tyres up. And he comes around the final corner to commence his second last run. Moves right across to the left, brakes at about the 75 metre mark, clips that yellow sausage curb, nearly loses rear mid-corner. It keeps the foot flat, trying to carry all that speed up the hill towards turn 2. No, it's really turn 3, but turn 2 is not really a turn, so I'll ignore it. Across the top of the hill, Trent controls the wheel spin nicely. Tries to shorten the distance down to turn 3 as much as possible. Brakes at about that 100 metre board. Oh, a little bit of a wobble. That Haas doesn't look perfectly stable. Brakes just after the 50 metre board, turning for this long left-hander. Keeps it pretty quick. Stays away from that inside curb and doesn't run too wide on the outside. Doesn't invalidate. It's getting up to the final 2 corners of the track. Just kisses that inside curb, runs as wide as he can, open up the final corner, just kisses the sausage curb again, doesn't run as wide as you can, and he'll come across the line. It's a 103.812, a solid banker lap. Stay on board for his second run as well. Oh, and that looked like it might have been an invalidation. He's still going. I see an Aston Martin slow right down to let traffic through behind. So Sandys and Mikau have set times, but it looks like someone's invalidated the final corner. I think that might actually be Big Al there, has invalidated, and a bit oversteer from Trin on exit, and he's backed out completely. I'll jump on board with Mikau now on his second run. And he's got his DRS open. Isn't here it open, but it is open. And there we go. He's got a fuel indicator light on, but he's still continuing to push. Oh, he's a little bit wide. He managed to keep it within track limits, and he's 1.1 seconds down in his time, so we're going to jump on board with... Here we go, we've got one of the McLarens, I think that's FIBA, it's going to be just behind him. As Hero sets provisional pole with a 103.582. And he keeps it just within the track limits out of the final corner. And it sets a 103.423. A great lap there from FIBA. Jump aboard with Combined YouTuber, who's just behind Big Al, who's winding up for a lap. Or finishing... No, there we go. Set to 122.982. Must have made a mistake in that turn 1. As Combined YouTuber goes P8 with a 104.290. And it looks like... and Deezy going a bit slow in the final couple of corners, just winding up to start his second lap. Or is that his third lap? It looks like he's got quite a bit of fuel in the tank. And he's run too wide at turn 1, and that's him invalidated. Going to jump aboard with Potsy in the Aston Martin now. He's coming through sector 2. The only driver yet to set a time. Big Al just behind him as well. Only other driver not to set a representative time. Just kisses that inside curb, runs a bit wide, and then he's invalidated. Oh, and a bit of oversteer as well. Had to get out of the throttle of the final corner. But he's going to continue on. Jump aboard with Big Al as he completes his lap. And P2 with 103.560 is a good lap there from Big Al. Splits the 2 McLarens. Back on board with Potsy now as he climbs up the hill towards turn 2. And comes across the top of the hill. Looks like he's kept it together pretty nicely so far. We could take a little bit more curb there at turn 3 to keep the speed up, and the fuel lights starting to come on, so this will be his last lap on these tyres. Oh, he kisses that inside curb, tries to hug the corner as tightly as possible. He's drifted out a little bit wide though. He's gone purple in sector 2, but I think his sector 3 is going to be a little bit down on the others. Just washed out a little bit there through the long left-hander. And he misses the apex the last corner. He runs a bit wide. He hasn't invalidated, but that's going to hurt his time as well. That was not a great sector 3 from Protzi. 103.762. I reckon he could be in contention here. If he gets that third sector together, that is a very, very good lap. Now I'll jump back on board with Mikau, who's on a lap as well. We've got Feber still doing laps on his softs. 3 laps old now. 103.423 is his time at the moment.
He knows he doesn't have to use that set for the start of the race, so that's probably why.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes Macau through second last corner and a final corner. Oh, he's missed the apex slightly, but he'll come across the line. And he goes P4 with a 103.641, so he had a little bit of time to find there for Mikau, but we know he's got the pace, so I won't expect him to be down there for too long. So Potsy is done at the moment. Feber is also done. We've got Trin and Potsy out on track. Potsy looks like he's coming into the pits, so jump aboard with a Haas driver. So it's on his outlap for what I think will probably be his final run in the session.
We've got Mikau on a lap as well. Looks like Feber's just doing laps. Should be coming in this lap. He's got a fuel light on.
Oh, nice turn 1 from Trin. That's going to help him carry the speed all the way up the hill to turn 2. And he's nearly lost the rear coming out of turn 2. And he comes across the top of the hill.
Looks like Mikau's pitting for another fresh set of
Oh,
softs,
his Trin nearly loses the rear at exit of turn 3. And yeah, he's not going again. So I think we've got CJMs on an outlap. So we'll jump up to the Mercedes.
You might want to get to the pits pretty quickly. Time might be of the essence.
No, should be able to do 2 runs on those softs. I think most drivers are doing two hot laps on each set of tyres. So he'll just be recharging a little bit as he comes into the final couple of corners. So you see CJM takes turn 1 a little bit conservatively. Had a bit more room to push there, but must just want to set a slightly more representative time before he pushes 100%. As we see, nearly everyone's on track now. Mikau and Potsy still in the pits. Feber as well. As Trin's retired. Trin has... Let's have a look there. Sandisi. Oh, there he is. The Haas in the middle of the road. He's hit the wall hard there, Trin. And P6 is the best he's going to start the race. Back on board with CJM. And he's 4 tenths up on his time, so that's good enough. He might get up to P5 here. It's purple in the second sector. Can he finish it off, though? He doesn't quite use as much of the entry curve as he could. And comes across the line. Improves by 4 tenths. Goes P5 with the 103.672. I'm going to jump on board with Big Al, who's... Oh, actually, he's on an outlap. Let's jump on board with someone who's still completing one. And that'll be Sandisi down here in P9 at the moment with 104.052 coming to the final couple of corners. That Alfa Romeo looks so loose in the corners. The rear looks like it's about to step out at any moment. And he comes across the line. I wonder
how that goes in the race.
5 tenths down. So he's up to P2 with a 103.534. Jump aboard with his teammate. He'll be next across the line. And he's up by 1,223 thousandths of a second. And
looks like Ali's in for the very fast lap.
Yeah, Big Al is pushing very hard indeed. Fun fact, that is Ali's brother, so it can be a bit confusing between the two. As Captain of Gold comes across the line, P5 with the 103.620, jumping aboard with the man himself, and he's backed out of that lap, so he's going to recharge the engine slightly as Hero comes through now.
One minute remaining.
Ali, your names are very similar, is what I mean. Hero comes across the line, 103.341. And great lap there from Hero, jumping on board with CJM, who's on an out lap, so jump back a little bit. Feber is not on a lap. And here comes Combined YouTuber. And he might get a little tow here from Feber. Goes P8 with 103.716, and he's backed out. We've got Sandesi, and he's pushing again. As we see, one of the McLarens has gone off there, and Sandesi surely invalidated. He has. And there is the McLaren parked on the side of the road. Now, do we have anyone on a flying lap at the moment? I think Potsy started one. We've got Mikau about to complete one. 3.6. If the yellow flag thing would not cover the timing, and there we go, 007. So, is Captain Gold going to make it? He does. So here we go. Big Al is going to get the checkered flag first. Comes through at the second last corner. And there we go. Big Al, P2 with 103.365. Jumping aboard with CJM, comes across the line next. I think he ran out of fuel at the end, but he still improves by 103.573. Jumping aboard with Feber now. He's up by 2.5 tenths. He's going to get pole from his teammate. Opens up the DRS. And he goes pole with 103.231. Jumping aboard with Potsy now, who's matching his best time. He's got all the time to find in the final corner. We saw him make that mistake earlier. And how's it going to look? Much better, uses all the track, keeps control of the rear, comes across the line. P6 with a 103.585. Mikau now, the next cross line is up by 10.5 as well. Good final couple of corners. He goes P2 with 103.303, and we've got combined YouTuber coming into the pits. Captain of Gold will complete this lap. Is he going to improve? P6 with a 103.551. He's 17 thousandths of a second behind his teammate.
Very, very quick time.
Absolutely, and that is it for qualifying 3 here in Tier 1. FIBA takes another pole position. So yeah, Psycho points out it's 6 tenths between first and 10th. There we go. Less than a tenth between FIBA and Mikau at the front. And then, look at that, about half a tenth between Mikau, Hero, and BL. For the second, third, and a fourth. Then got 5th place down to 8th is separated by half a tenth. And we got combined there just 4 tenths of a second, nearly 5 tenths of a second off the pole position as well. So this is an insanely tight field here at Austria. Wow, there we go. So that is qualifying done. We have our grid set for the race. And it's going to be an interesting one. So it's going to be a fair bit of DRS train going on, but we saw in the Tier 3 race earlier a lot of overtaking and battling going on. And I wonder, yeah, if there is... Have we heard what's actually happening with the weather? We saw people take a while to come out into the pits at the start of Q1. And I just wonder if maybe there is a threat of a decent amount of rain in this race. Psycho says dry, so ignore all of that. Apparently, they were just taking their sweet time getting out of the garage. There we go. Countdown is on, so the drivers are confirming their strategies now, and we'll be underway for our formation lap. Mr. Spicer, who's your prediction for the race win today?
I think the race win will more than likely be... I think we're going to see something from FIBA and Hero this race. Possibly Big Al. Maybe Mikau might come through. But yet again, it's Austria, so anything is possible, and there's a lot of opportunities for, dive bombs or mistakes or penalties, as a matter of fact. So it's going to be interesting to see what the outcome will be. But my money is probably on FIBA, Mikau, or Big Al this race.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think FIBA will be wanting to basically win the final races of the season, so that's been confirmed. He is this season's Tier 1 Drivers Champion, and I think he just wants to set a few records along the way. He wants to win as much as he can. Having a look at the tyre strategy, Big Al managed to get through to Q3 on the medium tyres, so he's the only one in the top 11 starting on the mediums, rest on the softs, and everyone from P12 down to Crush and P17 are on the mediums as well. So that AWS tyre strategy is ridiculously wrong. It is an easy one-stop, and as you said earlier, people will be looking to pit off the soft tyre around about lap 14 and expect off the medium tyres around about lap 22 or thereabouts. But if there's a safety car, obviously that will change, because I'm pretty sure the mediums can do the whole race distance, if I'm not mistaken. The softs can last till about lap 25 without puncturing, so they're not easy to drive. But yes, the tyre wear is extremely low here at Austria. So the AI has taken control of the cars. I'm just waiting for the last few drivers to come around the final couple of corners. And there we go. As Crush has decided to... He was so late to qualifying that he's forgotten his helmet. And as he drives around the last couple of corners, I'm pretty sure if I should do something about that. And yeah, stop worrying about the jewellery, I guess. Oh, thank you, Combat.
What do you reckon, Gus? We're going to see a clean turn one?
Probably not. I feel like the championship's over, and here we go. We've got the red lights coming on. And we're away. Pretty good getaway from everyone. It looks like the Williams towards the back had a great start. And we see everyone seems to be doing all right. We've got 2-3 wide, a little bit for the back. There was a Haas, and the Ferrari made a little bit of contact there. They managed to get through without too many problems, but there's Ponton alongside Trin, and Ponton was a driver who had the great start. We saw him go straight through the middle, and it looks like they've been able to get through relatively unscathed, so very well behaved everyone. We're going to jump back a little bit further. We see go 2-3 wide down to the back of the field. T-Mac and Artanis going side by side, but have a look up the front. We got 3 wide. Coming through turn 3. We've still got Ponton and CJM trying to go wheel to wheel. The run down to turn 4. They've sorted it out. As we look at Captain Gold, loses position to Potsy, who's had a great start, up 2 positions into P6. Crush as well, up 3 positions trying to start. CJM's down 2 positions. Undercut's down 3 as well. As the drivers have all settled line astern as they complete the first lap of the race.
What a view. Everyone nose to tail.
Absolutely. So I wonder how long as we see. I think that's Captain Gold ran very wide at turn 1. He's lost position to combine YouTube, and CJM's got a good run in him as well. Ponton slipped into the slipstream of the Alfa Romeo. He's going to dart out. No, Captain Gold covers the inside. He's going to try and come back at CJM. They go side by side into turn 2. Mercedes gets pushed up onto the curb, and Ponton has a look down the inside as well, trying to get a good run. But I think, as Mercedes tries to squeeze Captain Gold across to the inside as much as he can, but has to back out of it as a little bit of contact is made, and Captain Gold and the Mercedes go side by side. Bit of contact, and Alfa Romeo is into the wall, the inside of turn 3, and he has dropped to the back of the field. I think he's just kept it out of the wall and does not have any wing damage that I can see. It just looked like he wasn't left enough space, or maybe he just understeered a little bit into the side of the Mercedes. We jumped forward to Batemate and Crush having a little bit of a battle, and there's a lot of dust on the racing line as well. As the Ferrari's just lost it. Crush has lost it coming through the second last corner, and he's had a spin as well. He's managed to avoid everyone else in front of him. It was absolutely crazy. And we'll have a look at that replay a little bit earlier of the Alfa Romeo and the Mercedes coming together. Or have I missed it altogether? I think I have.
Yeah, unfortunately that's afterwards.
There we go. I must have instinctively pressed the replay button when the Ferrari spun, as Ferraris are wont to do. Let's have a look at the front again as we see Mikau has a little bit of a move on Fieber here, and he's got the move done. He's still side by side with the McLaren. The McLaren's gone the long way around, and great work by Fieber to hold on to that position. Mikau gets a little bit of a tap from Hero behind, and I don't think Mikau will be appreciating that too much. Have a look at the back as Crush and Captain Gold battling it out for P16 and 17. Looks like Captain Gold's got the move done. As Crush is still going to be struggling with those really hot, soft tyres, medium tyres, sorry. And it does not have the grip of Captain Gold, who's coming through. Setting fastest laps getting set at the moment. Ponton 106.046. He's showing rapid pace since the start of this race in Tier 1.
They're all doing pretty well, and most have not got penalties yet.
Oh, here we go. Mikau making a move. Turn 2 onto Fieber. Oh, he runs him out a little bit wide. He's up onto the yellow strip. And we're going to see a battle between 2 McLarens. So they do jump in line astern, and Fieber's got DRS on Mikau. Is he going to cover the inside? He tries to at the last minute. He's making it difficult for Fieber, who's able to go. And look at Hero. Hero's having a move on Mikau as well. And Mikau's just been absolutely mugged by the McLarens. He's trying to go on the inside of Hero still, who does leave a little bit of space, but Mikau's line is compromised and he's had to back out of the throttle there and concede that position to Hero.
Yeah, these three guys should be much further ahead than the guys behind.
Absolutely.
While they're doing this, they're leaving them exposed to the guys behind, unfortunately.
Absolutely, and look at see, you've got a DRS train all the way down to P11. Artanis, unfortunately, has dropped off the back of Ekem, but there's another DRS train behind them all the way down to Endocat in P15. I haven't got to the two McLarens. Hero clearly unhappy with FIBA's run of wins here in Tier 1, all over the back of his teammate, and he'll have DRS as well coming up the hill towards Turn 2. FIBA goes very defensive very early, but Hero just stays on the racing line and he gets a position. And look at Mikau's having a bit of a dive on Hero as well. Hasn't got quite far enough. And look at Big Al around the outside. He's got the move done on Mikau as well. That's a fantastic move there from the Alpine driver. And look at Potsy go down the inside as well of Mikau. Mikau squeezing up against the grass. And he's got the inside line. And Mikau has lost couple of positions here, but he's still trying to hang around the outside of the Aston Martin, who's running down the inside, and he has got that position because had to drop him behind, and he's down to P5. Having a look further.
Unfortunately, just a little mistake like that can put you back quite a few places.
Absolutely, it looked like he had the move on FIBA, but wasn't able to get it done, and that just completely compromised him. As you see a bit further down, Captain Gold Crush still squabbling for P16. Jumping a little bit further up, we see that was Ponton and CJM going side by side. We also see the Ferrari of there we go, combined of in the Ferrari and the Mercedes. Oh, we've got an Aston Martin around. Looks like Ekham's had a spin at turn 1. Doesn't look like he's picked up any damage. I think he's just done that on his own. Jumping a little bit further up. And we've still got... there's that combined YouTuber and CJM still going side by side through turn 2. Oh, there's so much going on. Looks like Crush and Captain Gold still battling it out going into turn 1. We're going to stay with combined YouTuber here. He's got the inside line on CJM and the Mercedes. Still side by side.
I reckon Big Al's going to have a move on soon.
And then we go, combined YouTuber gets the move done on CJ. He's up to P7. A little bit further back, looks like T-Max got the move done on Endocat as well. Oh, actually, I think T-Max teleporting all over the place, so that might be why we're seeing the position gained indicator on him. As, a bit of a snap there from Hero going through turn 1. McLaren's jockeying for position at the moment. FIBA back in front of Hero, leading Big Al, Potsy, and then Mikau. Combined YouTube has dropped off the back of the DRS train for the lead. We've got Sandisi there in P6 just hanging on. But here we go. Hero's going to have a move down the racing line of his teammate FIBA here. Big Al trying to have a bit of a sniff too. As Hero and FIBA battling out very hard at turn 2. Looks like FIBA had come back at his teammate. And look at him. Here we go. He's got DRS. And he's got the move done around the outside. Hero quickly tries to cover off Big Al. Now he's going back down the inside of his teammate, who's run a little bit deep into turn 3. Now FIBA's got the preferred line coming into turn 4, and he regains that position. And combined YouTuber around the outside of CJM. He's under a lot of pressure here to maintain this spot. And Pondon, I think, has actually managed to make it through as well up into P7. So combined really struggling at the moment on those soft tyres.
Looks like everyone's doing well. Ooh, Heroes go very tightly.
That was Mikau. That was Mikau into the pit wall. The exit of the final corner. He's lost his front wing. It looked like he just lost the rear coming out of the final corner, and into the pit wall he went. He's still in the race, but he has lost his entire front wing, so he's got to do an entire lap around his track before he can get that replaced. Now back up to the front, and Big Al has taken the lead. FIBA goes for a big dive coming back at him, pushes him up onto the curb, and look at Hero go. Hero's trying to go down the inside. They're 3 wide going down towards turn 3. And Big Al has dropped back down to P3. FIBA retakes the lead, but Hero's on the inside. And he's got the position now. Look at Potsy as well, having a go on the inside of Big Al around turn 3. There's contact between the Aston Martin and Alpine. And how did Sandisi survive that? He went in between the Aston Martin. That was absolutely incredible.
For Big Al, very unlucky.
Oh, let's have a look at that again. And here we go, they're side by side. They just contacted tyres, and the Alpine of Big Al speared across Sandisi. And Sandisi went between Potsy and Big Al. How he survived that I don't know.
The gate's open for him, that's for sure.
And Big Al drops all the way down to 15th. Mikau comes to the pits and he's 13th. As we look to the front, and FIBA and Hero still going at it for the lead of the race. Hero back into the lead. FIBA just dropping back to get DRS again.
I think these guys have decided, you know, it's towards the end of the season.
Well, FIBA's already won the championship, so he's just racing for pride at the moment. Hero just has a point to prove that, you know, he's not a number 2 driver at McLaren, as he runs a bit deep again, but he's... Oh, no, sorry, that was FIBA ran deep again. And Hero just tucking in behind his teammate there. Jumping further back, Big Al's got the move done on Eckham up into P13. And just hanging on to a position from the Aston Martin. And you can see Sandeezy starting to drop off the back of Hero now. Now that there's not as much squabbling happening for the lead positions. He just doesn't quite have the pace. I think he might...
from Pondon right down to Endocat.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like FIBA and Hero, the 2 McLarens, might be able to pull away here, and Sandeezy's quite vulnerable to Potsy. He's using a bit of his ERS. Sandeezy tries to cover the inside. He's still holding on, but he has to tuck in behind Potsy, who's just got way too much pace coming up that hill. And I think...
we're going to see Pondon or Trin pit in the next 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, well, we are expecting the soft runners to come in around about that lap 13-14 mark, so just a couple of laps to go until that happens. But if there is a safety car early... Oh, what's happened here? We've got Hero's gone around at turn 3, and it was a massive check up there. He's going to lose a few more positions as well. Pondon combined. CJM go through. So is Trin and Artanis all going through. Now, Batemate's there having a bit of a look as well. And it looked like he had a spin. He's cooked his tyres as well. He's gone straight off. He's got straight... Has he got a puncture? Has he got a rear puncture, or is that just overheated?
I reckon most likely overheated. Oh, possibly right rear puncture.
I can't...
It's hard to tell.
Still going flat. We've got a yellow flag further up. We've got... I think that's Sandeezy's had a spin as well. The final couple of corners. Yep. He's off. Yeah, he's lost it as well. Hero comes into the pits.
I reckon Hero's going to be pitting for mediums from here.
Oh. Yeah, well, Sandeezy's continue to go, but yeah, temperatures are going to be absolutely cooked. Now, Potsy's got from over the lead. He's caught up to FIBA already, and I think that checkup's helped him close that gap. He was about 7/10 behind the lead pair, but because of Hero's spin, that's allowed him to close up the gap, and he's now taking the lead at the race. Now, jumping back, combined YouTuber and Pondon are battling it out, and turn 2, as it looks like Potsy might hang on, but no, FIBA goes for a big dive down the inside of turn 3. He's got the Aston Martin pushed right up on the outside, but that is the quicker line. It looks like he's able to close that off, and combined YouTuber's able to hold on to P3 as well, as Pondon is closing in so close to the back of the Ferrari, as we see Eckham and Sandeezy battling it out for P12 as well. Sandeezy trying to regain some of those positions after having a spin. Back up to FIBA all over the back of the Aston Martin. He had a bit of a look into the second last corner. That compromised his line, so he lost a little bit. There we go. Looks like Trent's coming into the pits. There we go. You called it. Trent going for the undercut on the rest of the soft runners. And we'll keep an eye on that, whether or not anyone else is going to react. Now, also, Pondon's picked up the first 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. As we have a look at combined YouTuber trying to break the slipstream, but he's a sitting duck here. And there we go. Pondon up into P3. I don't think the Ferrari's going to be able to come back. And also, Podsy's lost that position to FIBA. He's going to come back at him. He's got DRS on the run into turn 3. Is he going to go for a dive? He decides not to. And Pondon hangs on to P3. Combined YouTuber sticking with him. We did mention a bit earlier, he looked to be struggling a little bit on those soft tyres, but he's been able to stick with it. And now that he's in DRS, he may just be able to get a little bit of a tow along. We'll keep an eye on what happens with the race leaders. We do have Trin down in P15 after that early pit stop. Looks like FIBA and Potsy both staying out. What's Pondon going to do? He's coming in. Combined YouTuber decides to continue on, so he won't have any DRS to help him with. CJM, Artanis and Batemate all staying out. Artanis and Batemate on the medium tyre. So Pondon is the one who reacts to Trin's undercut. And we'll have to keep an eye on where they come out into traffic, as Potsy has another look on FIBA coming up into turn 2. And he's got the move done before the braking zone. Keep an eye on FIBA, who taps him in the bum. As CJM also gets past combined YouTuber, as Hero sits the fastest lap of the race with 105.584 on the mediums. Is FIBA going to have a run across the top? He can't quite get the move done. So let's have a look. Where did Trin come out? He has come out in front of Pondon by 1.5 seconds. So looks like he did get a little bit of a pace advantage on that outlap. But we'll have to see where they come out in relation to the race leaders who are still yet to pit. Optimal pitting point is around lap 13-14. But they may have to sacrifice track position as Hero and Pondon having a little bit of a tussle into turn 3. Hero showing his superior pace, and he's able to make light work of the Williams driver. As here we go, Potsy and Fever reacting to those who pit further behind, as it looks like CJM and Combine U should be coming in as well, but Artana staying out on those medium tyres. And it looks like that might be all of the soft runners coming in. Sandeezy stays out. So let's have a look at Trin now. He's coming around the final corner. Where is he going to end up in relation to these leaders who have come into the pits? Hero sets a 105.526. He has been absolutely rapid on those medium tyres. Now Potsy and Feber come out in front. Potsy in the lead. Trin now in P3 effectively as Hero comes in 13. So Batemate and T-Mac battling it out now into turn 3. And the AlphaTauri driver's got the inside line. He's going to try and force the Alpine up onto the outside curb, but he's going to have a good run coming into turn 4, but the AlphaTauri pulls in front and maintains the lead of the race as we see Hero and Pondon still jostling for position further behind. And Hero now just a 1.5 seconds behind Trin in the Haas, who's currently running effective P3. Potsy and Fever are the first cars of those who have pitted. And we're still waiting for Sandeezy and Captain of Gold. Both the Alfa Romeos yet to pit off those soft tyres. Expect them in the next lap or two. As Crush in the Ferrari picks up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Batemate still has the lead as Captain of Gold does come into the pits. So his teammate Sandeezy opting to go one more lap on those soft tyres. Yeah, T-Mac doesn't look like he's using any of his overtake to try and close in as Ekem goes absolutely flying past Big Al. And I think may have strategically just let the Aston Martin go through.
What lap do you reckon we're going to see these medium runners pit?
Oh, as Feber runs a little bit deep, trying to go for a move on Potsy, and Potsy gets a nice little switchback on the McLaren, who's trying to tuck into the slipstream. He doesn't have DRS to come back at the Aston Martin. So the medium runners, I reckon, will be coming in around about lap 20 to 24 thereabouts. But if there is a safety car, we might see them come in a little bit earlier. Softs can go to the end from here, so there's only 21 laps to go in this race. And the softs can go to the end, but they will lose a lot of performance after about lap 10. So see how that all plays out. Batemate's still in the lead of the race. Going to jump back. Feber slowly closing in on Potsy again as Sandeezy does come into the pits out of P7. Captain of Gold picks up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits as well. And Sandeezy drops down to P15 with that pit stop. And there we go. Potsy making a little move on Crush up into turn 3. So that's meant that Feber not able to go for a move. Actually, Feber didn't have DRS enabled then as well. He's got it now, so that's not too bad. And Potsy goes down the inside into turn 3 on the Ferrari. Now here comes Feber in the inside as well. Follows him through. Can't quite get up and alongside enough to make a move for P7. Having a look a little bit further down the field, we've got a nice little battle pack for P10 at the moment. We've got Trin, Hero, Pondon, CGM, and Combine YouTuber. Crush at the moment in the middle has yet to pit. Oh, as we got a big spin, as Pondon has gone off. Looks like Combine might have gone off as well. I think Combine just managed to avoid any contact. He's still got his front wing intact, but Pondon had a big spin there. His tyres are filthy. It looks like they're all able to continue without any problem.
Yep. That's a big loss from the leaders, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Pondon was in contention for a podium here. It's Feber and Potsy once again changed positions. And unfortunately, yeah, lost the rear of the car. Probably medium's not quite in the window just yet. Now Hero gets past Trin now. So he's back onto the effective podium. And I was having a look at the Haas here. He's got DRS. Might try and come back at the McLaren. He's close, but he backed out slightly. Just lifted the throttle a little bit early. Just make sure that he didn't overtake. I think he might just be trying to get DRS to get towed along back into DRS range of the race leaders, Feber and Potsy. Got Mikau closing on the back of Sandeezy, so Mikau had that wing damage early on in the race after spinning at the final corner into the pit wall. As Phoebus sets the fastest lap of the race at the 105.317. Baitmate still.
We're going to see Phoebe climb up, I think. Catch up to these guys that need a pit even for mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. Gap's now 4.5 seconds. So we've got this train down to P6. That's everyone who started on the medium tyre. Big Al, unfortunately, was in contention for the race lead a little bit earlier as Trin's come back at Hero now. It's a move done into turn 2. Big Al had that contact. I saw something in the chat. It looked like his wheel had frozen or something when they had that contact at a turn 3 with Potsy. And that's what speared him across in front of Sandeezy. It's Hero and Trin change places again. McLaren up into P10. Pondon very close to the back of Sandeezy. Not quite close enough to go for a move just yet. As Trin and Hero, oh, a bit of contact there between the two. Trin made a move in Sector 3. You don't often see any passes there. But Trin obviously not wanting to wait for the next DRS zone. And now Hero goes through at turn 1. And I think Hero might actually have DRS here. No, it looks like Trin was just behind the DRS detection point. And he's going to get the move done as well up into turn 2. I expect that with the assistance of DRS, Hero may go for a move down into turn 3. And Trin covers the inside line, Hero around the outside, and he made very light work of the Haas there. So back to this lead pack. Baitmate continues to lead the race. We haven't seen too many penalties yet, so Crush, Pondon and Captain of Gold, the only drivers to have any track limit penalties. And there we go, we see Baitmate conceding the position to T-Mac. I don't know, I think T-Mac's quite low on ERS at the moment, as you see Andercat and Ekem going wheel to wheel through turn 2, and Big Al very close in on the action too. Goes to the racing line, and we're going to see Big Al go for a move here around the outside. We are, because Anakat's had to drop back. You see Fever and Potsy changing positions as well, just behind them. The gap's only 2 seconds now to the DRS train, so...
if Harry's clean, you can hand him to me, and I'll... before my race starts, if you want.
Absolutely. I think you may be talking to someone else getting picked up on the mic. As, yeah, gap between Fever and Endicat's 1.4 seconds. There we go. DRS train all the way down to P8 from the race leader. Absolutely monster. We got a yellow flag. Looks like Mikau spun again at the final corner. And this gets out of the way of Captain of Gold there. So he's not having the greatest race. He lost his front wing again. I don't know if there's something wrong with the setup of the AlphaTauri. And look, Hero's had a spin as well at turn 1. So he's dropped down to P15. So all that track position he gained after the pit stop. And he has dropped back down. So you see Trin up in P10. He's going for a move on Crush. And there we go, Trin up into P9 now, so he's 7.5 seconds behind Fever and Potsy, who's just had a move on Andocat, who's going a bit slow, and Potsy's been able to collect him as well. I don't know if he had any wing damage there, but no, this looks like he's a little bit slow in the middle of the sector, as we've got a yellow flag. It looks like the Ferrari of Crush has had a bit of a spin as well in the gravel, and he's dropped down to P12 now. His teammate's just gone past. He's trying to rejoin safely onto the track, and he'll come out just in front of Hero and Captain of Gold. And we've got a couple of pit stoppers. The first off the mediums onto the softs, and that's Baitmate and T-Mac. So keep an eye on that undercut there, whether or not Baitmate's able to get the jump on Artanis. There we go, as Crush comes into the pits as well. Jumping back up to the lead, we've got Artanis claiming the race lead from Ekem. And Big Al and Fever battling again after battling for the lead of the race. This time it's just for track position. Big Al yet to pit in this race. And look at all these guys racing so close together. So Fever back up into P2 now. He's one more move away from getting the race lead as Potsy goes through on Big Al as well, who's really struggling with those worn medium tyres. Fever rounds up Artanis as well. Tries to. He's got him here. I think Artanis might be coming into the pits. He is, and it looks like the Aston Martin of Ekem is coming in as well. Oh, so close. The driver's coming into the pits. And there we go. Fever leads Potsy, leads Big Al. Which is back to... Oh, he had a few laps ago. Now, Trin looks like he's going to make a couple of positions here as those medium runners get out of the way. And CJM very close behind the Haas as they come around turn 1. Now, I think Trin's going to be a little bit vulnerable here, and CGM does blaze past, coming up the hill to turn 2. And CGM moves up into P4. He's got slightly fresher medium tyres compared to Trin, as Potsy goes for a move down the inside of Fever, and he's been able to keep control of it. He's back into the lead of the race, and Big Al's done well to stay within DRS range here. He might be trying to just pull away from the rest of the field so he can have a little bit of a gap to come into when he does pit for those soft tyres. Now Sandeezy there in front of Pondon.
Through the... Good racing from everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's kept it pretty clean so far, but we have seen a few spins as Big Al does come into the pits now. So let's keep an eye on where he comes out relative to T-Mac, who is in front of Batemate after those pit stops, but they are within DRS range of Sandeezy and Pondon. Go. T-Mac coming down the pit straight, so Big Al will come out behind this little run of soft runners. Pondon looks like he might be in a little bit of trouble here, so he's on those 10-lap old mediums. They will be able to go to the end, but he's going to be in a bit of trouble with T-Mac and Batemate being on the soft tyres. Jump a little bit further back. There's 3 wide coming out of turn 2. Got Captain of Gold, Hero, and Andocat going down towards turn 3. And thankfully they all get it sorted out before there's any contact. Look how close the Alfa Romeo is to the back of the McLaren. And Hero gets P13 ahead of Captain of Gold and Andocat. Got a yellow flag. Oh, looks like Mikkel's had a bit of a spin as well. I wonder if he might have a little bit of floor damage or diffuser damage. He's had a spin at turn 1, and he's about to go a lap down as Potsy and Fever come out of turn 1 and start the climb up the hill towards turn 2. Fever with the assistance of DRS gets the move done, and Potsy will get DRS across the top of the hill towards turn 3. And Potsy is not going to go for the move. We're going to jump back to, there we go, Pondon and T-Mac going side by side. Oh, as we got, there's, I think that's Mikkel just staying out of the way there. So, as I mentioned before, Pondon struggling a little bit with those medium tyres compared to all the soft runners around him. Batemate tries to go optimistically around the outside, and it's going to compromise him as well. He's got Ekem down his inside, coming into turn 4. Ekem yields a position. Batemate saves P9. As combined YouTuber picks up the 3-second penalty, Batemate goes down the inside of the second last corner. Oh, it's an optimistic move. You got Ekem as well, has lost the position to Artanis. And Batemate tries to get the move done on Pondon out of the final corner. I think he will just get it done. And they all get it sorted before turn 1. As teammate picks up a 3-second penalty now for exceeding track limits. And Ekem's had a terrible exit out of turn 1, jumping further up. And T-Mac has got the move done on Sandeezy. Looking further back, we've got Batemate getting past Artanis and Pondon. The 2 Williams drivers going side by side. As Mikkel has lost it at the final corner. Unfortunately, that's that yellow flag you see there on the track map. Now Pondon under a lot of pressure here from Ekem, who's down the inside now into turn 3. And he moves up into the points. Pondon really struggling now on those tyres. And Cat's been able to get the move done on Captain of Gold as well, down for 13th. There we go. So Feber now about a half-second lead ahead of Potsy. So Potsy's dropped off a little bit, but he will be able to close back up with the assistance of DRS. And having a look now, Big Out down in P12 is so close to the back of Pondon now. Pondon going backwards with those very tired tyres. And there we go. So much better traction coming out of turn 1. And Big Al gets the move done on Pondon up into P11. And jumping up to P2, Feber loses the position to Potsy as well, going into turn 3. Now Trent's closed back up to the back of CJM, so he's on those older mediums, so I wonder if he's just been able to save the tyres and a bit of battery as well, being in the DRS of CJM. And they've been able to pull away from combined usually. He's still running a very respective P5. As Mikhail comes into the pits again. Looks like he might have a bit of wing damage once more. Crush and Hero having a little bit of a battle going into turn 3. Crush on a soft tyre. Simple position Hero is to Pondon. Those old mediums really starting to struggle now against those who have fresh softs. A little look back up at the lead. Looks like Fever not quite able to get a move done on Potsy just yet. And we've got a yellow flag. Is that Pondon? It is Pondon. He's lost his front wing at turn 1. And that's going to be
he's been doing so well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those worn tyres are struggling a little bit too much. And now Sandeezy under a lot of pressure from T-Mac. Is he behind that train of soft runners all the way down from P7 down to P11. He's done well to be able to stay in front of T-Mac this time around. But he may just be struggling a little bit. We had a question from C-Carrot in the chat, Mr. Spicer. I wonder if you could help out with is just to check what the warning status is of Potsy and Feber, just to see, because they don't have any penalties at the moment, but when we come down to the last 8 laps, it could be any moment.
That straight away.
Thank you very much. Now Trin out of DRS range now of CJM. Oh, I think he must have just been within range at the detection point. Is I think it was Big Al picks up a 3-second penalty now for exceeding track limits.
So at the moment, there's nothing on the telemetry for Feber, for fuel or mechanical damage or anything like that.
Wonderful. Oh, we're going to have to jump back up to Potsy and Feber as Potsy lost the lead briefly.
Fuel warnings at all either.
Wonderful, thank you.
But Hero is around.
Ooh.
So maybe his rear tyres are gone again.
He has lost it at the second last corner. We'll just pretend we didn't see that. Hero.
Oh, track limit warnings. Track limit warnings. None at the moment for Potsy and Feber.
Wonderful, thank you. So keeping it very clean and fast. So having a look at Sandeezy now, he's struggling to stay with T-Mac, and he's falling back into the clutches of Baitmate. He's on those soft tyres as well. As we come into the final stages of the race. And Big Al makes a move on Artanis now, up into P9, goes the Alpine, as Feber and Potsy once again change places. And I wonder, is Feber going to get DRS on his teammate? He's not, as Big Al gets a move on Baitmate. Is Baitmate going to come back at him at turn 2? He is. He's got the inside line, so Big Al's going to have to leave a space. A little bit of contact between the two. And look at, I think that was Artanis being ever the optimist. Goes down the inside. He's got DRS as well.
Seems to be around the outside, seems to get the position.
Oh, very late on the brakes. Baitmate's kind of boxed himself in with Big Al in the middle, and Artanis is going to try to go down the inside. He's not quite far enough. Baitmate's out of position though for the next corner. Is Artanis to be able to get a switch back? He's not, so he's going to have to slip in behind the Alpha Tauri.
Looking very smooth, that punch.
So FIBA using DRS from potentially from his teammate there. No, he's
Everyone's
not quite
on
got
3-second penalties at the moment, except for Crush and Pondon, who are on 6.
There we go. You can see it there. As again, we got a little bit of a battle here. Look at Artanis down the inside of both Ekim and Batemate, who ran deep at turn 2. And Artanis says, thank you very much. And he goes flying up into P9. Batemate gets back past Ekim into the points. He lost a little bit of time there. Jumping up and Big Al and Sandeezy. Look at this little battle for P5 down to P8, and look at Combined YouTube runs it very wide. I think Heroes had a little bit of a spin at the final corner again, and Combined YouTuber and Artanis running side by side. A little bit of contact, and the Ferrari's gone round. He's in the wall. He's out. Combined YouTuber's crashed out of this race. And are we going to see a safety car? We do have a full safety car.
Full safety car.
And
that's very unlucky. Do you have a replay of that one?
I do have a replay of that one. We'll bring it up now as the drivers all also position. We had a great aerial shot you could see there. Combined trying to hang around the outside of Artanis, and he just drifted out slightly into the rear wheel of the Williams and then straight into the wall, and he's out of the race. So we could see Air Commander, Captain of Gold, and Crush all coming to the pits.
You think we're going to see a few people outside the top 10 pit for softs to see if they can get some positions made.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there was a directive from the stewards that you could not enter the pits if a safety car was called when you're in between the final 2 corners, so you can't cross that white line. And there were a number of drivers who were there at that point, so we can see there that Ekim was
Might have to be under review by the looks of it.
No, I think Ekim was the lead car who did come into the pits, and I think he was just the right side of the line. As we see FIBA come into the pits now. So there are a number of drivers there who are having to go around again, but it looks like they won't lose out too much because they will all be under the delta at the moment. And Mikhail has sped into the pits, and I think he's retired as well, so fair enough. I think he had some aero damage or something with that car. Cause
it doesn't take much.
No, I mean, we know how good of a driver Mikhail is, so there must have been some unrepairable damage there. But look at that, T-Mac has taken the lead of the race in the Alpine, so he's opted not to pit off those soft tyres, and we're going to probably see another lap or two of safety car. And T-Mac is in the lead. We've got Sandeezy and P2. Oh, there's front wing everywhere. Someone's just lost some wing. Big Al has hit Sandeezy. I think Big Al has no front wing. He doesn't. He's hit Sandeezy, and he is going to have to come into the pits.
Is that a glitch issue or a...
Well, Potsy's got a... Oh, no, now the stewards are going to have to deal with all these 5-second penalties everyone's getting. I think Artanis and Big Al have just got 5-second penalties for ignoring yellow flags. Because I think the game
made that rule about someone being +3 or +5 delta, you're allowed to overtake.
Well,
provided they got damage.
I think the problem is with the game is that, I think because there was that collision, they was telling people to get past Big Al, but then Big Al was still recovering, so we're going to have... some headaches sorting that one out. Big Al, unfortunately,
is... Just the steward something to do, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Unfortunately for Big Al, he's lost his front wing, so he's going to have to come into the pits now as well, and that's probably going to be his...
quite a bit.
Yeah, his chance of getting any points
Although he only needs to beat 5 cars, doesn't he?
That's true. That is true. We've only got 15 runners left in the race, and Hero's quite a way back. So is Pondon. So he might get lucky, as we see McLaren of... I think that's Hero coming into the pits as well. I think he's just trying to get out of the way of everyone who's retired behind. Oh, sorry, who's a lap ahead behind.
Yep. And on top of that, he's got people in front of him with 6 and 3-second penalties.
Yeah, Hero's retired as well, so he's a lap down. Unfortunately, the game doesn't let lapped cars back through, so he is done and dusted. Big Al down to 13th. He might actually stay 13th. We've got Ponton coming to the final corner now.
Did he speed in the pits as well, or?
No, he got a 5-second penalty that he's serving now for the collision at turn 1.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And that has cost him P13, yeah.
Yes, I believe the safety car should be in this lap.
Should be. Everyone should catch it before it gets to turn 3 and 4. So we should see it come in this lap. So we'll have 2 green flag laps. And I don't think we'll have any DRS either. So it'll all be passing on merit. We've got FIBA in P3, doesn't have any penalties. And this is where... So Sandee's the only driver on the medium tyre. T-Mac and Artanis, Batemate on old softs. Everyone else on relatively new softs. So we'll switch it over to the penalties. The safety car is in this lap. And we'll jump aboard with T-Mac as he controls the field. But FIBA at the moment is still in the lead of the race effectively, with T-Mac and Sandesi both having 3-second penalties. Artanis has an 8-second penalty in P4. 5 seconds might be reversed if because of that collision, but we'll see. Same with Potsy. I think he has a penalty for ignoring yellow flags. So the finishing order will probably be confirmed in a few days' time once the stewards have had a look at it. But for now, let's just enjoy.
This is not going to be fun.
Absolutely. Let's just enjoy the last couple of laps here in Tier 1. It's been a great race so far. I expect there to be a few fireworks as T-Mac has gone. He's bolted, and I think he's caught Sandesi napping. The gap's now half a second already. FIBA all over the back of the Alfa Romeo as it comes through the final corner. FIBA already has a bit of overlap on the Alfa Romeo. He's not going to get the move done before the start-finish line, so he is up into P2 already. Having a look a little bit further back, Potsy's got the move done on Artanis already, as I mentioned before. They're on very old tyres, those two, and Potsy clears them very, very quickly indeed. Having a look back a little bit further, we've got Captain of Gold. Looks like he might be having a little bit of a move on Andocat, and he's down the inside. Going to have a look further up as well. We've got Trin and Ekem going for some moves. And look at this battle for the final points-paying position. Captain Gold and Crust swapping places, and Andocat as well. Better angle, please, Codemasters. Going to try around the outside, and he doesn't go for the move. Potsy gets the move done on Sandesi. He's on those very old medium tyres and is trying to close down FIBA as well. These two are still battling, and there we go. FIBA down the inside of T-Mac. So T-Mac is about to lose the lead of the race, and FIBA back in front. So all eyes on Potsy now. Is he going to be able to follow him through the final couple of corners with one lap to go after this one? And look how close Potsy is to the back of T-Mac. T-Mac trying to use the slipstream from FIBA to stay in front. Now, a reminder, we don't have any DRS because of the safety car, and it will be the final lap of the race right now with absolutely no assistance at all from that rear flap. Potsy's been able to make it through T-Mac on the run up to turn 2, so he's just got about half a second to close in. Having a look at Trin, who tried to have a little bit of a move. There we go. We got Artanis and Sandesi changing place as well. Sandesi going backwards with those old medium tyres. And there we go. CJM also trying to go up the inside of the Alfa Romeo. He's got the move just about done. He's still got the Alfa Romeo on the inside. And he's got just better traction around the outside. A little bit of contact. But
behind
looks like he's got it.
Loving this because he's gonna.
Absolutely, he's got no penalties, so Batemate could jump massively here. And Sandesi has to think about coming back at CGM, but that is it. And we'll see FIBA come around the final corner. He'll take the checkered flag and win yet another race. Potsy will be in P2, but then all the penalties are going to completely jumble up the order, and I'm not even going to read it out, as that is it for our Tier 1 race. See Carrot in the chat. Good win for FIBA. Was anyone's race up to the end? Really good stuff. Racing within this good the whole time I've been gone. It's great for spectators, but I don't know if some of the drivers will be overly happy with some of the contacts and penalties.
Really safe for them to be watching back and going, "Oh, he did this, he did that."
Absolutely. So stay tuned to the penalties and reports this week in the Discord. We'll see what happens there. According to Ali, P1 and P2 crossed the pit lane, so it will be reported. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh, look at those penalties.
And maybe I'm there, just joined as the drivers cross the line. Well, do stay tuned. We do have another race in about 15 minutes' time, so Tier 2 will be on straight after this one. But well done to FIBA. Batemate jumped up to P2 after all those penalties, but let's just wait and see what happens with that. Trin P3 as well. Ekem P4, and then T-Mac P5. FIBA did get the fastest lap of the race with 104.345. We've then got Andocat, Potsy, CJM, Sandesi, and Captain of Gold rounding out the points. Then got Big Al, unfortunately, just outside the points there, but we've got Crusher, Tanis, Hero combined, and Mikau rounding out our field.
All right, Gus. I shall be heading off.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Commentating.
No.
Might see you next week.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Mr. Spicer. Good luck in your Tier 2 race in just a few moments' time. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back, as I said, in about 15 minutes' time for the Tier 2 race, as my dinner has just arrived, which is absolutely fantastic timing. So, yes, everyone, please stay tuned for Tier 2. should be an absolute ripper. So thank you for joining us for Tier 1. I've been Gus Rawls. This has been Mr. Spicer. We'll see you next time.